Hello. Happy day. Um, I've been looking through the news and Twitter. I have some things for you. It's an issue that's very close to my heart, probably the number one issue close to my heart. Like if I had to prioritize my values and rank them, this would probably be at the top. And it's all related to free speech. I have another video from that lady we watched yesterday that I want to start with. And then I want to tell you about something that happened in the news that I I was giving Trump and Biden a fair shot. I really was. And the the column of reasons not to vote for Biden just keep piling up and piling up and piling up. I'm pretty sure at this point, unless something changes drastically. I mean, I'm from Louisiana. We've done this before. We've had to go with the crook in order to keep out the racist in the David Duke election. We put it Edward Edwards. I may have to go with the crook again this time to keep out what's happening with free speech in this country. Let me show you this video. And all right.
The number one challenge here that we see and is, of course, the First Amendment in the United States is a fairly robust protection of rights, and that is a protection of rights both for platforms, which I actually think is very important, that platforms have those rights to be able to regulate what kind of content they want on their sites. But it also means that it is a little bit tricky to really address some of the real challenges of where does bad information come from and sort of the influence peddlers who have made a real market economy around it.
As someone that does the work I'm doing now, and I'm trying to do more of, she concerns me. Hey, Domenic. The First Amendment, what did she say? It sometimes it's hard to get around or stands in the way. So let me hear her again. Makes it a little bit tricky. And then the other day it was truth. So truth, speech. So in North Carolina, this little high school kid got suspended for using the phrase illegal alien. That's pretty much a line for me. I'm tired of it. I absolutely loathe these people with every atom of my bones. If Biden has even a 0.000% chance of increasing that or putting that my speech even more at risk, or the speech of these high school kids, and Trump, I'm confident because he's already put out one directive against it, is going to do more against it, at least more than Biden. Then that right there almost, like just rationally compels that choice for the crook, or the probably will be crook by the time this is all over. I'm preparing worst case scenarios, so I'm planning my vote for the worst case. If he's not a crook, that's just going to make it even that much easier. The teacher gave them an assignment or something, and about aliens, and he said, like, is it the outer space aliens or the illegal aliens that come over here without a green card? Okay, he has the right to say that, or they have the right to dialogue back and forth about it. We hear way worse on this stream. So if a high school kid is getting suspended over saying that, what does that bode for the future of what I'm doing here in the audience, the guests, the viewers? If they can do it to a high school kid, it is a legitimate, rational worry, and it's something very concrete. So people that accuse me of being paranoid or conspiracy, etc., this stuff is happening. I am concerned about it. I work in a field that's has the potential to be impacted by it, and so the more I notice these things, and not a lot on the other side to counterweigh them and give me a reason to put them up against something else, this might be what swings me. The free speech issue. Don't tell me how to talk. Like if you're in a society where grown people are telling each other how to talk, that doesn't feel like democracy anymore, or at least the American version I grew up in. And it's free speech is more civilized. The fact that we've moved from resolving things through violence to resolving them through speech is an advancement. That is civilization. That is the civil. We have civilized ourselves in the process of, and in order to be able to do that. So when you start to move away from that, you're not progressing to some higher civilization. You're regressing to a civilization before speech. Like free speech is one of the hallmarks of civilization. So if you're going to progress beyond that, you have to do it in a way that doesn't reduce the existing achievements of civilization. And that's where they're fucking this up. Oh, okay, cool, Moose. Absolutely, me too. That is why I left the left. That is why I got into it with the Satanists from the Satanic Temple. That is why I get into it with the woke, the trans. That's why this issue bothers me so much, and that ladies whose videos we've been watching. And I have to choose which candidate is going to defend that the most or put it least in jeopardy. And I am not getting signs from the Biden side that is going to be them. They're coming for it. They see it as a problem. That, according to that lady, she was the CEO of NPR. It's getting in their way of doing what they think they should be in there doing. Yes, and that's not even true in the abstract or in the political or ideal sense. That is true on a very practical level for me and maybe other people like me, where I have to be able to talk my thoughts out loud to even process them. So it's not even like free to speak my voice and persuade people. I need to be able to do it to fully have the fruit of my own thought. And if people try to block me from doing that, they're interfering with my own cognitive processing at that point. And that's a huge problem, because with neurodivergence, we already have our ways of processing, and don't try to interfere with that and throw us off even more, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And this is going to affect a lot. I said that about the pronouns. I said when the trend of pronouns started and there were consequences, whether actual or social, I said, it's autistic people are going to get caught with this, because we struggle enough with social codes and etiquette and et cetera. And this is a whole new layer of complexity for us to get tripped up on. All these little micro nuances between the genders and the pronouns. Like, what's a he, they? I don't know what a he, they is. If I say, it looks like any other guy, or if they're a girl that I've seen. Non-binary looks that way to me too. So that's really asking a lot, like raising the bar or the barrier for autistic people. Language, the long term, the linguistic evolution with the most long term success is the organic type, and that's the most democratic kind. This top down social engineering type of language change is not sustainable long term, and it has no place in America's society, my America. So you're gonna have to fight me to implement it. So that is the topics I have today. I did have maybe a few more tweets. Oh, and open panel tonight. I'm gonna be on Steven's, the Sanity Machine channel. I better drop the link. And that's gonna be at 8 p.m. Central. And so you can that's what I'll be doing tonight. And depending on how that goes, I may do an evening stream, or I may just hang out there, whatever. But y'all are welcome to come and see. And we have Mr. Domenico in the back. Dom.
Hey, Jeff. Like what you've done back here backstage. I like the lights.
Good morning, or whatever time it is. I don't know where you are. So happy
I'm
day. Good day.
uh,
Good day to you, sir.
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay. Oh, a Canadian. Okay.
As
Well,
Canadians,
I hope you have a good day, nevertheless.
it has been. It has been so far, Jeff. Thanks. So, can we entertain this different possibilities when it comes to the ideal of free speech? Like, who gave us that concept of free speech, and who can take that away from us, or at least manipulate it?
Um, well, there's a particularly American version
Hmm.
that I understand that's kind of unique in the rest of the world, and that's the one I've always lived under. So that's my standard for speech. Like if I went to England or Canada, I worry that I would get myself in trouble because I'm so used to operating under the American standard. I'm not going to be able to code switch. I'm not going to know the little nuanced free speech laws of those countries that are different from here.
Okay, so was it given to the citizens, or was it something that certain class of
Um,
people just ponder it? Ponder it.
I think was that one of the ones that were developed at the founding, or did it come from? Let me. That's a good question. Let's get some background on this. But I would say they were developed, whether initially or through the legislative process. They're created by us, but we give them to ourselves
Who's
as
us?
people,
Because
as a society.
prior to a lot of things, the nobles, hence the people, really didn't really think too highly of the citizens or the peasants when they were making these rules that benefited them. So how has that changed? I'm playing with ideals here, obviously, because then we have to deal with governments opposed to commerce. Does freedom of speech work with even commerce?
Um, I don't necessarily buy that they didn't think highly of the citizens. That's not the
Okay.
impression I get from reading their writings. But
Okay.
I do know that their intention was to limit power to property owning white men or whatever. But we've since expanded, so that no longer applies to our day and time, and it hasn't for a while.
Okay. So when they say, just putting it out there, Jeff, when they say statements, we represent the people or we the people, are they actually talking about what's called citizens of that nation?
I believe they are,
Okay.
and I
Because
have always lived my life as though they were, and
okay.
it seems to have worked.
Because when they say we the people in our prosperity, it actually means we the nobles in our bloodlines. So
Well,
they've
you
been
can interpret it that way, but there's
sure.
nothing in the text that would lead me to interpret it.
Mm-hmm. And they've kind of changed it from the people to what they call corporations now. So that's why there's not even rights supposedly.
I do think that was a bad decision,
Oh
but
yeah, for
it
sure.
didn't get changed in the Constitution. But yes, Citizens United, I'm all for revisiting that one.
Well, the word civilization gives it away. We've been civilized, and I'm also to say the word domestified, but I get it. I'm not
But
saying
part of
I
that
favor it. Go ahead.
civilizing was the ability to express ourselves freely. And so people that want to move back from or away from that make me nervous. It makes me wonder what their idea of civilization or progress is, because to me, this is such a hallmark or benchmark of human civilization so far.
Well, absence of having freedom of speech was you could speak, but you would get beat up for it, either a good hanging or a good lynching. So, and if you did speak, more times than not, you did it privately because you knew the reward you would get if you said it publicly. So we're free to speak. Doesn't necessarily mean things are going to be adhered or changed because we speak freely.
It does not guarantee change, but I have seen it lead to change. And
Hmm.
so that is there, that potential is there, but there's no guarantee of change. But just the act of being able to do it, like there's other reasons to be able to speak freely than just to make change.
Sorry, guys.
And so there, I still get benefits from it, even if it doesn't always affect anything.
We get what they call the crumbs that fall off the table. But
Called the
yes,
what?
the kind of metaphorically, the crumbs that fall off the table. That's what we get.
Oh. What's going on in Canada? I hear they're trying to see what they can encroach on and get away with.
Oh, they've just been changing a lot of policies. A lot of them were being done when they had the Parliament scandal and all that kind of stuff. A lot of this is being mandated underground by the United Nations. Again, we're playing, well, a lot of people are playing nationalists. Well, they've been playing globalists for the last 25 years or 30, if not longer.
Well, I do know that there's probably some globalist influence as well as many other groups, but what the extent of what that influence is, I'm not.
One would be if there's ever martial laws, a nation cannot enforce it on their own people. So America would have to have a foreign standing nation to enforce martial law. Canada already has a British military here. It's underground. It's usually the British military. It's been here for 40 years. It's just that you don't see its presence. So America they would be outside, and then inside you would get a foreign nation, whether it's Chinese or Asians.
I don't know how martial law works. I have not heard that before, but I don't know if you're right or not. You may be.
Oh, it's not about being right. It's just
It seems weird though that they would let, like, if they have to impose martial law, that if it's serious enough to impose martial law, that they would trust another nation to come in and do it.
They can't trust their own citizens to do it on themselves. That's just
Let me. I have not heard that, but if you have a source for it, I will definitely take a look.
A lot of the policies are done by the United Nations.
Oh, is that something the United Nations is saying, that other
yes.
nations have to?
Yeah. Those are the people that we don't get a say to vote in. That's all. It's nothing major. That's worst case scenario. You know, it's like the Federal Reserve.
It seems like there's a lot of scared people, and I don't know if the fear started to increase during 2020 or if it was there before. But I run into a lot of people that there's just a lot of fear and mistrust that drives their discourse and their imaginings. And so they think of worst case, and they think of what's the most extreme thing that we might have to worry about.
It depends on the person's demeanor. You know, if you study it or observe it just for what it is, you know, a lot of people would be fearful of something that they're unaware of. They might pick it up, you know, intuitively and say, okay, there's something going on. You know, it's like
if the world is as bleak as you say, or others say, and we are in the dangers that they think we are, then the only thing you can really do is prepare for it on your end and figure out what you can control of it.
If it is bleak, I'm just sharing information, Jeff. It's not, for me, it's bleak. There's certain things to implement it, and then if you factor in, you know, when they do things like the pandemic, just to see how the citizens of the world are where they're at, you know. So
I don't think there were hidden puppets behind it.
Well, it's usually orchestrated groups. That's why they conspired together.
Yeah, there is a tendency in some people and groups to see coordination and connections that the rest of us don't necessarily make.
Well, they've openly talked about it. Like in 2005, America's currency was valued at 9 cents to the dollar. It had gone bankrupt. So hence why they did the 2008 bailout, and why China and Asia, the Chinese currency from the Federal Reserve was redirected to finance America. America, if you factor in their pensioners, there's $300 trillion in the hole. So there's a kind of a Roman Empire collapse going on, hence why they've shifted to a lot of places. That information is openly out there, Jeff, whether people want to take it in or not. It's not about fearing it, it's just about being aware of it. Most of us don't have that ability to make those kind of changes anyway.
Yeah, well, other than the political process, but yeah.
Very true.
Well, and I wish I knew an economist or somebody that could come on and talk about the economy and finance side of it, because that is something I know zero about. I don't even know how to evaluate information or facts when people are giving them to me. So.
True. No, I was just sharing a little bit. That's all. It's nothing. You know, it's not because I created it. You know, you got to take with a grain of salt the information that they document.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't take the United Nations as seriously as other people do. Like I, I don't. I still consider the U.S. government my sovereign. There's not
Hmm.
anything above that I acknowledge.
And rightfully so. A lot of citizens, that's what they do, you know. But once you factor in the World Bank, what they've done to countries like Venezuela, Jamaica a long time
That's all the
ago,
stuff that I don't know anything about. That I
yeah,
wish I had somebody on here that could get into the like economics of it.
yeah, they're all interconnected. Once you start working your way up, you know, through the G8 and all that.
Yeah, but you know what, they said that about Trump during his 4 years, all the connections he had to Russia and Kushner and all Kushner's connection, and so they were saying this the same thing. Like you can do that with anything. You can say, look, there's all these connections if you have enough people and data points.
Mhm. Well, they did the same thing with Churchill, Roosevelt, Mussolini, Hitler, Tito, and all that. It's the same thing over and over again. They just put different characters that some people might call puppets. Donald Trump's just a puppet for the organization, for the system. He's been groomed from the time he was with WWE and the Apprentice and all that kind of stuff. They knew what they were doing. This is not something they do over a
Yeah,
period of
they were
4 years.
saying that, and
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that, and that Mark Burnett, the guy from Survivor, was in on, like, he's the one that created The Apprentice. That was, he was part of the plan, and that's why he created The Apprentice and all of that.
Hmm. It's just when Jeff people think it's like some sort
That's
of
a really complex Rube Goldberg machine to influence an election. I mean, when you could easily just do it with like which is what I think happened, just flooding social media with some Facebook posts at the last minute.
true, true. Well, they want a popular vote, or they at least want to have a pulse of what the
Yeah.
citizens of the nations are doing. But usually, you know, it's the other factions that are more of concern, like people that have that lobbies. The lobbyists in America, let alone Canada and England, are probably more important than to know whether or not the popular vote is favorable or not, whether it's a chancellor, a dictator, or a prime minister. In this case, in America, for you guys, it's a president.
Yeah, I don't worry about that. If we survive Trump, it bolstered my confidence in our
Mhm.
system.
True.
Well, if it is being controlled and like we're not in control of the result and we're just puppets, who are they going to elect for us in November?
Couldn't tell you who they're going to elect. They probably already selected somebody, but who it is, I wouldn't know, Jeff.
You don't know if it's going to be Biden or Trump.
Well, those are the two characters that they give you. You know, as they're, you know, it's like when they do impeachments, they're passing all kinds of laws. So in this case, as the election is going on, the commerce side of it, in this case, the corporations are doing other things. Those are the things that are going to play a
They're
major
getting
role.
those slave pins ready and those bugs fried up.
Could be. It could be. There's always that possibility. Again, that's the stuff that they use to what we'll call their medias. They tell people to eat crickets or whatever. And a lot of people will eventually either do it or put on a mask or go look at what's going on with the sun and the moon. Yeah. Again, that's just 101 marketing and getting a good, you know, focus group PR out of it.
Yeah.
Again, Jeff, that's not going to change anything. It's just we're going to be in it. We're like kind of like the frog in the water. So.
I must be, because I really don't feel anything.
Hmm.
I don't feel any of the fear and anxiety that a lot of people do when they look at the world and try to imagine what's coming. Hey,
Well,
Chuck.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
disagree that Trump was a plant because
Yeah, I did
they
think that
laughed,
for a while, but I'm
they
not.
laughed and ridiculed all the way when he first started. And what it was the masses were sick and tired of the status quo. That's how he
Yeah,
gained so much traction so fast.
yeah. That's what I didn't realize at the time. That would have made it all make sense. I was in a bubble. But he had tried to run before. Like he had floated a few campaigns before that. So he just didn't suddenly out of the blue show up in 2016.
Other than switching parties.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This is the first time. This is probably the worst two choices of any election in my lifetime, and I'm 53 years old. So that however many elections that is, this
And
is the first one where the choices are both so bad that I honestly don't. I'm going to vote just because patriotism and civic duty, but I honestly don't know what. Well, until recently, I didn't know what to do, but now I think I have some kind of little criterion to use
look
to
at
evaluate
the
where to place my vote.
primary. Trump didn't do the first 5 debates that they had as far as the RNC, and he wasn't out.
He captured y'all. That part is completely captured by
And
him.
he wasn't out there campaigning or anything, and he just totally ripped it up. Even in was it Nevada or whatever state that was that didn't have him on the ballot, and they thought Nikki Haley would take it for sure, and the people voted for none of the above in the primaries.
You think he's gonna survive the trials?
That I don't know. I really don't know.
That indictment looked pretty damning, but I'm almost rooting for him. Not if he's a crook, I do want justice. There's no. I don't want him to escape justice.
But there again,
I don't want Biden and his little woke regime in power anymore. When I see all this free speech shit coming out.
Oh God, yes. Well, you realize that it was Obama that started that, right?
I have heard the thing of Obama. I voted for Obama, and I was glad he won. So at that point is when I kicked back and I stopped paying attention to politics because my guy won, so I didn't have to focus on it anymore. And so I didn't pay attention to a lot of what Obama did, but people do tell me things, and when I go back and look, some of it does surprise me that it came from Obama. So I'm not as easy about Obama as I was when he
was notorious for getting backdoor warrants on journalists, trying to shut journalists down.
Well, it's this idea that speech is dangerous. Like the United States already has standards of free speech. They're set by the Supreme Court. They're set by, and those are the ones I accept. These are people that think that those are not restrictive enough, and there's more of a danger to speech than I think there is, and they want those increased. And that's where the fight for me is. I'm happy with where the setting is right now, and they want to turn it up. Because there's this idea that speech can hurt people.
Exactly.
And it can hurt people that let it hurt them, that don't have the emotional and psychological maturity to manage their reactions to words and take care of how much the word affects them or not. Hey, Sean, welcome.
So, what speech are you talking about? What free speech is being
well, like today,
and
here in the U.S. today, there was a story of a kid that got suspended from high school for using the phrase "illegal alien," which is an official phrase. It shows up in the government documents, dictionaries, etc. And they suspended him for it and said it was offensive or it has the potential to be disruptive or divisive to the classroom. So they decided that his speech, they imposed consequences on it, even though the speech was completely innocent, and stuff like that. Like. Before now, we could say stuff like that without much consequence, and the government couldn't impose any. And now,
was that in California somewhere or a liberal state?
It's in the United States. Oh, this was in North Carolina, it's North Carolina's going woke because it's one of the more liberal.
What's that new term they're using instead of illegal immigrant or illegal alien? What's the term they're using? Yeah, there you go.
Growing up, I knew them as illegal alien. That's what they call them on the news, everything. It was not what they do is they're trying to socially engineer language. The culture war is a language war. So they start problematizing words, and then they see if they can get you to feel shame or guilt for using it and change the words that you use into a word that fits in more with their agenda and their ideology.
If you look it up legally, they are classified as illegal aliens.
Right. It's a legal term. That's what the argument. They're
Exactly.
suing the school, and that's what one of their arguments is going to be. Is there's not. How can he get suspended for using a term that the government itself uses?
Well, that was a mistake by the school or the principal.
It's not the same school district that they had that other problem at a while back, was it?
Let me see which one it is.
In Loudoun County. I might
No,
be in the
that's
wrong
Virginia.
state.
Loudoun County is
Okay,
Virginia, I think.
wrong state.
The word in the freedom of speech is articulate. You just can't ramble for the sake of rambling. It's articulates well, does it have a direction?
Well, I ramble. I think people should be allowed to ramble. I know a lot of people that wouldn't have any speech at all if they were forbidden from rambling.
Jeff, people can do whatever they want, but I guess that when people write these kind of stuff and it's associated with Commerce Court, so the punishment for outside of that would be some financial loss. So if a person wants to have freedom of speech, there is rules. I don't make these rules. I just try to learn them. So when a
Are you
person
saying in
understands,
Canada or just in general? That's how it works or should work.
it doesn't matter what government, just because there's a body of water or landmass. These are, again, rules that are made by certain orchestrates. So now whether, again, it doesn't matter if it's presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, dictators, there is rules. In America, they have a concept called freedom of speech. You're living on a landmass that is still being ruled by the monarchy. Whether people...
Well, I don't believe that. So.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We are not ruled by the monarch over
I'm
here.
not ruled by anybody. I have a set of laws that I submit to.
I was talking about the
But I'm
land.
not ruled. Nobody's telling me what to do from day to day, or even month to month, week, year to year.
I was talking about the land, guys. I wasn't talking about the things that are on the land.
Talking about Canada?
Talking about land. That's why
He believes that all land on
about
earth
beliefs.
is ruled by this hidden monarchy or hidden aristocracy, and I just don't believe that.
Okay, unless you have titles. Hear me out for a second, Jeff. Unless you have titles like dukes or barons, or you have a lodial title, or you pay membership fees. Most people, they pay property tax. Change the word property tax to tribute. That's what people are paying. That's why governments, their job is to collect it.
That's how you're framing it, but most people that live here and participate don't see it that way. That's your narrative. That's your mind movie around it, but it's not.
Because we see where our taxes go. They break it down. We're not paying no monarch.
There's a concept called passing a budget.
Called what?
Passing a budget. That's why the governments are allowed to pass budgets. Those budgets are designed.
And corporations pass them. Households pass them. Budgets are not a conspiratorial theory. They're a perfectly normal part of modern life.
And that's what the government's gotten away from, is living within a budget.
Yeah, that's even in my life. Like most of my lifetime, the national debt was going up. Like I never grew up thinking we were ever going to actually pay our national debt.
Clinton actually had a true budget that was worked under Clinton, but it didn't last. Yeah, he actually had a balanced budget, but it didn't last long.
Because of Bush.
Well, because of whoever decided to spend all this extra money, put us farther in
most
debt.
Governments are in debt. I think the Japanese are like 300% debt, government debt or something. But most governments are in debt. I don't know why. Stupid.
Yeah, we subsidize a lot of these other governments for some reason.
Probably because it would cause more headaches if we didn't, and they didn't have a government.
Israel is one of them. I mean, would you stop subsidizing Israel?
I don't know if I think Israel's pretty autonomous.
I don't think
they would cease to exist if we quit subsidizing whatever we're doing.
We do subsidize them, besides the.
In fact, well, I know we have treaties with them. In fact, Netanyahu came out and said, we're going to do what we want. Israel is going to determine its own response. We don't need any other countries telling us what to do. That doesn't sound like somebody that's beholden or subjugated to another country.
You think Trump is going to try and balance the debt?
To think what?
I didn't.
I think Trump is going to balance the debt. They're going to try and balance the
I
debt.
don't know. No, I don't. I
What
don't
hap-
think.
Yeah, what happened with Trump was he got in there and he got smacked with reality of fighting the bureaucracy. He just couldn't say this, do that, say this, do this. See, that's the same thing Obama tried to do. Well, I'm the president, so I can do all this stuff, when in reality, he couldn't.
But he was a senator before that, so he at least had an idea of how
He wasn't even a full
the
term.
bureaucracy worked. Yeah, but he's closer. He knew more of the bureaucracy than Trump did. Like, he was in it long enough to at least have an idea of how it worked.
He was actually a radical in Chicago when he was there, before he became senator.
What do you do in Chicago?
He was a radical activist. He believed in I can't think of the guy's name.
Well, they're autonomous now. It doesn't matter where the autonomy came from. If we paid for it, they have it now, whether it came from them or us.
I mean, what's going on in Israel there? It's quite worrying.
We don't know yet because they're kind of waiting to see if they respond to Iran, and Iran's threatening to retaliate. Like, if they attack Iran, they're gonna retaliate.
I
against their
heard
facilities.
Maybe I got the wrong story, but I thought I was reading a few minutes ago that they attacked a nuclear site in Iran.
Oh, well, I read that they were threatening to if Israel retaliated, but I didn't see where they had actually done it because Israel hasn't done anything yet.
Well, I was trying to speed read it while I was driving.
It says it may strike if Israel does. It's like a warning against Israel. They're not saying they're going to do it. They're saying if Israel escalates, that could be one of their responses.
I thought it was saying that Israel had already bombed them.
No, it may change nuclear weapons stance in the face of Israel, U.S. And U.S. announced sanctions too on Iran.
Against who?
Iran.
Biden finally got some balls. What? Instead
the
of
U.S.
giving them money,
announced a fresh set of sanctions. So it's a fresh set. They already have sanctions. Targeting the production of unarmed aerial vehicles Thursday, as Tehran warned Israel to review its official stance on nuclear weapons if atomic facilities were attacked. So if Israel attacks its current atomic facilities, Iran's going to attack its nuclear weapons. And as a result of that, the U.S. put a fresh set of sanctions on Iran to kind of keep them restrained. They have atomic sites, they're saying, that Israel could attack.
Yes. We know that for a fact. And they've been stockpiling the weapons grade fuel.
There's certain categories of speech that the Supreme Court has already defined, and those are, and it's very broad, like it's a very broad category. The restrictions on it are very narrow. They interpret it very narrow. So that's what I'm happy with where they have determined the boundaries lie currently. And I don't want those reduced, because people have this idea that words are more dangerous than they actually are because they don't know how to manage their own emotions.
I heard that the U.S. is quite unique in that freedom of speech in the Constitution. There's not many other constitutions that have that freedom of speech thing.
Yeah.
As well said.
Yeah. I mean, England, there's stories in England and where people, like, the cops come to your house if you post a mean tweet. They could come to your house and police you for it. And there's something in Canada, I think they're trying to get passed about pronouns, like it'd be criminalized using the
Well,
wrong
you
pronoun.
can make a threat on Facebook and the police will show up here in the United States.
Yeah, if you threat, but that's different than just making a post. Like it was
Oh,
like if you
okay.
make a post against trans people, it's like you're not really a woman. The police can show up at your house because that's
Oh shit!
that's like dangerous speech. You are
Holy
harassing or
cow!
whatever the charge is.
I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
kill
the
you with my
UK, probably.
word.
Yeah, and it's happened in the UK. And I think some of them sued or appealed and got it reversed, but it still happened.
I heard there was a free speech thing that happened in Scotland there recently. They're going to regulate social media or something.
Yeah, they are
A
trying
lot
to
of
do that in other
people
countries,
didn't
but
like
not
it.
America. That's why I'm so invested in keeping this one, the one we have. I don't want people messing with it, and I see signs that people are seeming to want to try to.
Yeah, but you got to accept it. You know, Elon Musk, you know, the way he loves free speech and all that. He has to play a fine line because then he can allow a lot of crazy things on Twitter and all that. And
Yes,
I heard he
crazy
does
people have
support
the right to
right
speak.
wingers a
They
lot.
have the right to say crazy shit.
But like, would you allow like pedophilia and Nazis and shit on your social media if you were Elon Musk?
Well, if I were the owner of a platform, I would have different considerations than a user. But I'm talking about not even just platforms, but streams, hanging out in coffee shops, being a high school kid in a classroom, stuff like that. It's not even just social media. But it would be nice if the same standards that applied in real life carried over into social media.
Yeah, I still think you need a bit of regulation, though. Well, obviously there is, but I don't know what it is.
But we already have regulation. It's just people are not happy with the level of it. They want more of it. But we don't have unregulated speech. We do have limitations on it. They're just very, very broad. And they're so broad that some people are unsatisfied with that and they want to make them narrower. And I don't want them to do that. I like my broad speech.
So you're willing to accept fake news and crazy ideas for free speech?
We've had fake news and crazy ideas, not only since the beginning of America, but probably since the beginning of history. You can't, what do you, like, look, on this stream every day, I try to do something about it and I can't, other than give my perspective on it. Like, say where I stand on it. So somebody will have another way of looking at it. That's all I can do.
Okay, maybe keep it, but as long as if you threaten someone, you get sued.
That's
Online
different.
as well.
We already have laws for that. We don't need new
Yeah,
laws
so
for what we already
a
have laws for.
Nazi, you could be a crazy conspiracy theorist on Elon on Twitter and not get kicked out as long as you don't threaten anybody.
I don't know what I've never had an issue on Twitter. I got put in timeout one time, and I think it was for something trans related. Some trans person had reported me for something that I got put in timeout.
Was
And
it
that's
under the
only
old
time
regime
Twitter
or the
has
new
ever done
regime?
anything with my speech. And I've said a lot of, like, I say the same stuff on Twitter that I say on here.
Was it under the old Twitter management or the new Twitter
Both.
management?
I think it was the new one, because I think I had I think I had tagged Elon to try to get him to undo it.
Mm.
My Twitter got worse. I like Elon and I support him, but my actual Twitter experience got worse when he took over.
Why is that?
I don't know why, but it did. My tweets started to not. I started to not see people's tweets. My tweets were losing engagement. The moderation was chaotic. Like, the algorithm got all chaotic. Nobody was replying to my tweets or seeing my tweets
Shadow
anymore.
ban.
I wasn't seeing other people's tweets.
Yeah, you were shadow banned.
No, because I checked it in those sites and it never showed me a shadow ban. It It was happening all the time. So it was something with the new tweak of the algorithm that he did.
Same difference. You got
What's
put on a
shadow banning?
blacklist.
What does that mean?
That's
Shadow banning.
where they limit your exposure, what people you can see.
Yeah, you're
or
not banned or blocked. So you think you're still having normal Twitter, but they're like other people can't. They're hiding you from other people or not showing you in their
limit
algorithm.
your exposure. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
And
log,
you're
in the
not showing
algorithm.
up in the places that you would normally show up in, but you don't know that that's happening. But there's websites that you can plug your name into and they can tell you if you're shadow banned. But when I checked all of them, I was fine.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard that loads of people believe in conspiracies nowadays, like, because the internet, you know.
It's I see it as like an artifact of the brain. The brain fills in when it has limited data and it needs a narrative to work with.
The stage is
Well,
free though.
and it
I like
didn't
to think.
help when they pushed that fake Russia Trump thing in
It
the
made it
federal
made
government.
so much sense. Oh my God, you don't know how much sense it made. Like I went over there with a microscope and all of those pieces were adding up. It was scary.
Huh?
The Russia thing.
So, wow, my research led me to different conclusions.
Not mine. All the smart people were all saying the same thing, and they were all corroborating each other, and they were all analyzing everything, and it was all making sense.
They was making it make sense.
Well, I think a lot of them believed it themselves because they were in the same position I am. Our brains needed an explanation for why Trump won. It didn't make sense, and so our brain came up with a narrative to make it make sense. That made sense.
Well,
that's
it
the
made
purpose
sense
of that
because
narrative. It's supposed to help you make sense, and it's so good at what it's supposed to
people
do
damn
that
sure
things
didn't
make
want
sense that are
Hillary.
not real. People what?
People damn sure didn't want Hillary.
I didn't want
Like,
Hillary either, but I didn't want Trump. Like I wanted her over Trump. I didn't even want to run Hillary, but once she ran, she was still better than what Trump represented to me at the time. But I think she ran a bad campaign. I really do.
Yeah,
and that
she was
comment about
already
the
wounded.
deplorables,
Yep.
she almost lost me at that point.
What's so bad about her? What things do you?
I don't like
totally
what my
disagree with?
thing with Hillary, where she lost me, was when she took him back after Monica Lewinsky, where he like shamed her publicly in front of the whole world like that by having that affair, and she took him back, and I lost so much respect for her. And but I've never liked her personality. She's a Karen. She's like this uptight white lady. She's like no personality. She's not fun. She seems fake and hollow and canned and wooden. I just don't like her personality. She's like, she has that type of like high status female authoritarian personality that I clash with constantly.
And plus, she also supported Afghanistan and Iraq, didn't she?
The what?
She supported the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
That I'm afraid I don't know much about. I was around for it.
Most of them did at the time, regardless which side they were on.
Right.
But I mean, she screwed that ambassador in Libya. Totally screwed them folk.
And Clinton screwed the gays on the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I was already
You think?
He had points. Yeah, he was going to integrate the military, and then he switched it to Don't Ask, Don't Tell to compromise with the generals.
Well, we basically
hold the line.
We already had that in the military. It wasn't spoken though.
Right, he was going to make it where we could serve openly, and we couldn't be discharged. And then he didn't. He backtracked on that and made it to where we could stay, but we couldn't do it openly. And if we did, we could be discharged. And that's not what we thought he was going in there to do.
And don't take this the wrong way, what I'm about to say. but from having 14 years in the military, having the gay community, integrating women affected our readiness. It affected the morale of the troops, the cohesiveness of the troops.
Did it cost any victories, you think?
Now that I don't know. I haven't researched it that far.
And was it, if you leave the gays out, was women alone enough to cause that? Like,
Yes.
did it get
If
feminized?
you even without the gays, when they
Well,
when
does
they
that apply to
started,
lesbians? Like, if you had thrown a bunch of just lesbians, do you think
yes,
would have been different?
no,
Same thing.
it same thing. It affected the cohesion of a unit. It threw a monkey wrench into the
I
way.
see what it does to these streams. I see here on these streams the change that happens when there's a
Mm-hmm.
different ratio of feminine people versus the kind of people.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Do you think it's stabilized now, where the current generations are more adjusted to it?
No. And the only reason I say that is because of some of the policies that they've tried to institute to force things down people's throat.
Well,
You
but the
know.
military is kind of designed for that. It's a top-down structure.
Yeah.
You're
But when
supposed
you
to show up, and when your sergeant says integrate, you fucking integrate. You don't. They shouldn't have any integration issues, because they should just listen to what the sergeant says and knock off the bullshit.
I agree. But when they started teaching the political wokeness stuff to them, that's what started messing things up, because you can't have it both ways. You can't have somebody that's going to follow your orders no matter what you say, and then you start micromanaging the way you think and talk. Then you're going to run into issues.
Yep.
I hope that came out right.
Oh, it did. I'm right there with you. That's my grievance against Biden. Why I'll
I mean,
probably
there for a while, they instituted a, in volleyball, they have the card system. They hold up a card for, I want to be substituted out, or a penalty card, or,
Oh no, I didn't know about that.
okay. Well, the service in basic training, they handed out cards that if they felt they were being violated, they could hold this card up.
Are you like, if the drill sergeant's yelling at him and
Yes,
making him
yes,
cry, they
yes,
hold a card
yes,
up now?
yes.
Chuck. Oh my
Now,
God, I am so scared for America.
what do you think that's going
I
to do
might
to the
become a doomer behind it.
cohesiveness if you're in the middle of a battle and you got people out there holding cards up?
Oh my God. They don't get to do it during battle, surely.
Well, I'm being facetious, but if you
if
took
they're
it to
not,
that
if they're
level,
trained, like if they're allowed to do it every other time, how are they getting trained to not do it when
exactly,
they can't do it?
because the military's job was to break you down and make you into this lean, mean fighting machine, not
Yes,
a.
that is what I want from a soldier, so that they can defend this.
Yeah, but I think if there was more gays in the militaries all over the world, there'll be less wars.
There's
That's
not
the
ever going to be less
irony.
wars as long as you have Homo sapiens living on this planet. And until y'all can
That's
adjust
right.
yourself to that reality, you're always
But
going
if there was more gays in the military, there'd be less of it all over the world.
No,
That's
there
how nice
wasn't.
the gays are.
The gays and the trans are fighting.
Do you
Yeah, but if
think
there's
gays
more
are like
gays,
this peaceful species that there's not going to be war? Have you watched any gay drama or any RuPaul's Drag Race or anything? You think there's going to be no wars if gays are in charge?
It's the same mentality, no matter what sexual leaning you are. I mean, you can't
Where
change
do they
it.
get their idea of human nature, human reality? Disney?
no, but that's what the stereotype is, that gay men are more feminine, so they're less violent. that's why they don't want it in the
Wait,
military.
so you think women are less? Women are some of the most aggressive people I know on the planet, and 99% of the fights I get in are with women. I almost never get into fights with men, and when I do, they're short. We handle them, and they're done, and we move on.
Yeah, but that's because you're gay. You don't like women. But if you're a man,
No, it's because I
straight.
get into conflict with women, not because I'm gay. There's plenty of gay men that get along with women.
Yeah, I think you look for conflict with women.
No, I don't. I feel like they look for it with me. I'm sitting there doing my thing, doing something perfect, and then they show up and start finding a way that it's a problem or to problematize it. When they need to just leave me alone if it's not what they're
Well,
looking
that's
for.
what
But they don't. They
what
sit there and they try to change what I'm to match what they think it should be.
that's what
To me,
happened in the
they
military.
are the instigators. And they react like they react to things about me. Like I told you, I got kicked out of that group one time for talking with my hands because they said it was a sign of violence. Things like that. They
What?
react to things about me that men would not react to. So there's a power differential on their end when they're around me that they have that I'm expected to compensate for that they're feeling subjectively.
That's
So
that's the
that's not me
problem.
looking for conflict with women. That's them bringing the conditions for conflict to me and not having the expertise to navigate it when it happens.
That was the problem we had in the military. What you just described.
How did y'all solve it? What did they do about it?
Well, I learned to change my ways after I got in trouble a couple of times.
Is there a plan B? Because I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not changing my ways for women because it is not created for women. So, like my life plan is to minimize my exposure to women so I can continue to be who I am and not have to change for someone else. As a gay person, that was the whole principle of like the gay rights movement and coming out of the closet was being who you are and not being something that somebody else wants you to be. But when the women were involved, you suddenly have to be what they want you to be instead of yourself all over again. I don't do that. I don't do closets anymore at all or masking.
Yeah, that was the trouble I had when I was in the service when they first started integrating women into our unit. It was a
But
total.
you were able to adjust somehow over the years.
Well, after I got in trouble enough times, I readjusted my behavior so I didn't get thrown out. Because
Yeah,
I
this kind
claimed,
of stuff, what Daniel's talking about right here. And like
let
that
me
kid, that North Carolina high school kid today.
what did he say? Let me go back.
I don't want to live in this society. A society like this where this stuff happens is one I'm going to actively fight to eliminate and make sure we don't have to live in.
Now let me go back and re-say something. I had no problem with women being in the military, like when they were separate units, so to speak, because that did not affect us on our ability. But we had to adapt when they brought women in, started bringing them into the everyday army
So you
jobs.
train together and everything.
Yeah. Now, when I went to basic, we were separate. The women were trained separately from the men, and it was that way for a while until they started trying to integrate them.
Well, even in PE, they had boys PE and girls PE. Is everyone taking co-ed PE now?
They don't even make you take PE
Oh my!
anymore.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
I'm talking about in the real world.
Chuck, what is? I'm
No, I
really
shared
starting
it.
to become a doomer. I'm really worried about the world now that I hear this. Hey,
They want a
Moose,
bunch of soy boys like Moose.
what do we do?
You're
Moose is
starting to
not a
wake
soy
up,
boy at all.
Jeff.
I
I knew
would.
it. I knew your eyes would open up. Like, not. Never mind. That might sound like really condescending or whatever, right? But that's not what I
No, it's
meant.
starting to. These are the issues that are doing it for me. But I've always been for years, and I'm on record. I'm on video podcast. I have always had been critical of feminism for a while. I've seen the effects of what happens when things get feminized, or when women get power in my life, not on societal level, but just on a local, personal level. When women are
You
in
want to
power,
hear?
my life gets worse.
You want to hear a crazy one, like a insane feminist story?
Yeah, is there a way you can make me laugh with it so it's not
Oh,
too
it's
tragic?
Coming from
it's pretty
coming from a
funny.
feminist, it's going to be funny, Jeff.
It's pretty funny. So so Jeff,
I'm gonna have to
I
hold up
was
my
working at
car.
Starbucks at the time, right? I was working at Starbucks, and I was really I do whatever job I do it to the best of my abilities. So usually, people will send me to other stores or do other jobs or whatever. So they sent me to this one store, right? And I get to this store, and it's ran by all females, and I immediately like walk in, and like nobody's doing any of their work. They're all just like playing with their hair, just fucking
Oh my
around.
god.
And I like one of them actually like started talking to me and telling me about the shit that goes on in that store. Well, like some of them were actually like not prostituting themselves, but they would like leave the store to go give a couple of the customers a Hummer, or, you know.
What? The
Yeah,
barista?
yeah, dude. Like this is some crazy shit. Like I just walked in for the
Star
first
hose.
day. I just come into work, like just trying to go to work or whatever, and I'm hearing all this like random ass shit, right? And yeah, dude. And then I'm like seeing like all this weird behavior, like people taking breaks when they shouldn't be taking breaks. Nobody's saying nothing. I just kept my head down, right, and kept working. And then like later on that evening, I got hella mad. I was like, dude, I understand you guys got like whatever you guys are doing over here, like you guys are doing your thing. Like I don't give a shit about that, but like I'm not gonna fucking work for like all day long and watch you guys take a bunch of breaks.
What did they say? Were you the mean, threatening, aggressive man? Oh fuck!
In the district. So I left and I go back to work the next day to my store, right? And the district manager's there. And she like comes up to me and she starts trying to like accuse me of doing all kinds of crazy shit. And I was like, I threw it all on the table. I was like, dude, you don't even know what's going on in your stores. Like, and I slapped all that shit down on her, right? I told her everything like that was going on that night. And then like I looked at her, I grabbed my book that had everything, like had all my notes and all my work shit in it, and I threw it in the trash and I handed her my keys. I said, fuck this place. You guys are a bunch of fucking idiots.
See, that is not soy boy, Chuck. That's the kind of stuff I end up doing. That's crazy. Yeah, you're right though. They do that turn it on you thing. I see all the time.
Yeah, that soy boy thing. I don't think soya. You need to take a lot of soy milk to become
A soy boy.
feminine thing. You need a lot of it
I,
to get a feminine testosterone.
it seems like there are enough people out there imbibing sufficient
You mean
quantity.
eating soy products makes you more feminine?
It's I think it's meant kind of joke.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a joke.
running joke. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
running
There
joke.
are
lagging.
people that are feminized.
I'm just saying
There
the
are people
science of
that
it
are
is
white
not
knight
real.
fruit. There's a certain subset of women, and I think they have like a higher status. They're like upper middle class, and they're very delicate. They're very sheltered. They're very spooked around male energy, and so men that try to court those women have learned to manage their energy levels, have a gentle touch, white knight for them, protect them from other men that are like more energetic or aggressive or assertive or whatever. And that's that's where that soy stereotype develops from, I think. And then they start to take on the feminist values of the women that they're trying to get with.
I'll tell you a story. We were going out to the field. We knew we were going to the field, for a couple of weeks.
Wearing my
And
rubber boots.
and we had this female in my section. We get out there, the second day, she comes to me and she says, I need to go take a shower and I don't have no feminine products. So I went over to the mess hall and got a big package of napkins, brought them back and said, here you go. And I gave her a bar of soap and these napkins. She went to the colonel and told him what I did. So I got called to go see the colonel. So I go and see the colonel and explain to him. And I said, look, everybody known we're going to be gone for 2 weeks. You're supposed to be ready to go no matter what, da 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 da. And he says, yeah, I know, but we're trying to integrate these women into our units, so we have to go the extra mile. He says, so for punishment, you're going to drive her into back to base, let her get a shower, and then go buy her some personal products.
What did you do wrong?
I did nothing wrong.
Punishment for what?
For upsetting the female.
Okay, I'm getting triggered now.
Yeah, I did it. I didn't have no choice. I did it.
So why do they think they are the ones with less power? They are not. They do not need liberation. I need liberation from them because that is an abuse of power. That is an extra layer of power that the rest of us do not have.
It was either that or lose a stripe. So I took her.
Wow.
Yeah, because they was wanting to integrate females into regular.
But you don't. Integration is
That
not at
sounds
the
kinda
expense
soy boy to
of
me,
somebody
Chuck.
else. That's not what integration is. That's something.
I know.
Replacement.
Oh, I was mad as hell.
Oh my God, I'm mad. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, but you didn't stand up for yourself. You didn't do what was true and what was right, Chuck. You took it like a bitch, and you drove her to town, like driving Miss
Like a
Daisy
soy
because you
boy.
didn't want to lose your patch, like a soy boy.
What? Yeah, well, I didn't want to get thrown out. I was planning on making a career out of it.
I'm a fighter. Oh my God, I fight all the time. I got into it with my supervisor one day over some word. He's like, that word you used. And I'm like, don't tell me how to talk. I can use whatever words I want. He's like, no, I'm not. No, you're not. I'm your supervisor. I'm like, you don't have the right to tell me how to talk. And then the other supervisor came in and took my side and said, no, you don't have the right.
One time they caught me on video smoking a blunt in the alleyway, right?
So
I come into work. This is before I quit. It's what?
No, he was the one out giving the
horse
Hummers.
Worked? Is that? Oh, fuck you, Chuck. No, so this is at my regular store. And so yeah, I was smoking a blunt out there or whatever. So they come in one day and they pull me in the office and they try to get me for that, right? And so I just looked at them. I said, "Prove it." I said, "Prove it." You know, like prove what I was smoking was weed. And I said, on top of that, I'm like your best employee. So not only was I out there smoking weed, I was out working you while I was smoking weed, apparently. And they're just, some of the people that we live with on planet Earth, they're just not the brightest. You know what I mean?
True.
And they tend to have like corporate middle management jobs. Like most of the dumb fucks end up in like middle management.
Yes, they're the bureaucrats and the mediocrities.
And they don't move no higher. Yep.
And it seems like women are like feminized people will sacrifice competency for social cohesion, and men value competency over social cohesion. So they're willing to tolerate less social cohesion if somebody's competent at the job. And women, competency is less important than how you fit in and make the group feel. Because I was very good at my job, and every time I got fired or quit, I was a valuable employee. They didn't care about that. It was more important for them to have like an office harmony than to have somebody that could do the work.
Yep. I say that a lot.
Because it's all about how you feel. It's not
Yeah,
not
it's
about
about
the
and
production
they
anymore.
can't handle negative. Like even if somebody makes feel a certain way, I can handle it. Like they don't people don't have to change what they do to make me feel a certain way. But with those people that you can't, their feelings are externally localized. They're at the
Well,
mercy of the external. They don't have any agency or awareness or ownership over their own part of the process.
think about when Trump won, the image they projected to the world when they had that, was it the Pussy Hat Brigade, and they all fell to their knees, wailing and
Oh man,
crying.
that was
Remember
hilarious.
that?
Talk about
The
Yeah.
like the
Pussy Hats,
most
yeah, that
decent
was like right
and
around Trump.
orderly group of individuals I've ever seen. Like, I would much rather fuck one of those girls with a vagina hat rather than one of those women that are at the races in the 1970s or 80s. You know what I mean? In a bikini, or like, even if you look at the women on the far left to the far right, like the farther you go, the uglier they get. It's like the more like middle of the road, the hotter they are. I'm telling you.
Uh-oh, you got a hater down there.
Oh, that's fine. I'd like to pretend that I don't I don't think I'm pretending I'm edgy. I mean,
Moose, you got a big snowstorm coming up at the end of the month.
what would you like to discuss, Gamorrean? We've covered every topic. Like it blows my mind some of the topics that show up here. So I can't imagine what we haven't covered that's cutting edge.
I was just trying to
So
add
I
my.
think he's just trolling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because all I was doing was giving you some personal insight to my dealing with
Do we
the
just have a lever?
problem.
Do we have a what?
Do we have a lever? Someone who's leaving?
It
No,
looks like it.
Gamorrean is saying he's not happy that we're fake edgy. We're not edgy enough for him.
Right.
Just posing.
I think
You-
he said something about unsubscribing. So yeah, this isn't an airport.
Oh,
We don't need to
Gamorrean,
announce
please
your
don't
departure
go.
and your arrival. But
Yeah.
And you
when you come
and you can
back,
only be
we'll welcome you
you can
back with
only
open
be
arms because
so
we know how it
edgy on
goes.
YouTube.
This internet
Yeah.
it sucks in the same group of addicts, and you get the same circle jerk every day
Sad
with a
to say.
few new faces in it.
We are trying to change that. But yeah, feel free to suggest one of these cutting edge topics too.
Yeah, and we're limited by YouTube, so we can't edge too much.
Right.
Cutting edge topic. Isn't that like a funny term? Cutting edge.
It's violent.
Like,
It's
it's
gonna
like,
really make the women and children nervous. It's just a matter of time before that's on the
Well,
no-no
cutting
list.
edge means when it's on the brink, it just needs a push.
I know, but I feel triggered hearing that.
Oh boy.
What subjects have you not talked a lot in this show that you would like to talk about?
Oh, let me try to
heterosexual
find it.
sex.
No, that's been talked about.
Just like what? What are you talking about? That doesn't happen in this house, boy.
We done lost all of our good ones. You know, Denizen, I-Fi,
Denizen was around
Lib.
last night. I5 started doing panels of his own. Nobody
Oh,
shows
did he?
up. Started doing them, yeah.
Because of me, my fault. They left when I came. Scared
No,
of
they
me.
didn't. It wasn't you. It wasn't you.
Oh, are there comments that are? I'm not aware of any. There's a few people I have on the high list, but not many. But people have been saying
Oh,
that they haven't been able to
you
see
know
their
what it
comments.
is,
I
Jeff?
don't know what's going on with that.
What
Jeff,
news?
you got to go into your settings and you got to check your moderation settings for the chat, because if you have any of them set, it'll
The
moderate the
code
chat.
word. Yeah.
Holy
All right.
The
fuck!
word.
My internet keeps switching from Wi-Fi
The
to
word
not
list.
Wi-Fi. Son of a bitch. There we go. I'm back.
I don't blocked. I don't have any words.
There's a box
Yeah,
in
so
there that
I don't know.
says that says YouTube will look for certain words if you click this box or something. It's been so long since I looked at it.
It gives me a box to put words, but there's none in there right now. It's blank.
Okay. I know YouTube on its
No,
own.
there's another section in the settings. Keep going through all the settings and whatnot.
And there's
There-
one that says
It has
hold
to do with the
potentially-
chat.
Hold
There you go. Yeah,
potentially
hold
inappropriate, but it's unchecked. It was already
potentially.
unchecked, so it shouldn't be holding.
But
messages.
YouTube's got a universal one they use
And I don't know.
that applies to all channels. That if there's a word in there, they won't publish the comment, and I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that has nothing to do with us. Then
Right?
like,
Are
'Cause
y'all
Jeff don't
maybe
have
using words that trigger a filter?
a
I've
bot.
seen that happen sometimes.
Yep.
Every now and
And
then I'll try to type something, and YouTube will eat my comment, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll assume it's the filter.
That's
and
what
the
I'm
thing
talking
is,
about.
though, is you can just click the link, come up on panel. You don't even have to show your face, and you can just say whatever it is without having it.
Right. You can always type it in the back.
Or you could type it in the
Come up on-
back too. Like, you don't have to pretend like we're censoring people, because that's not right.
Yeah.
We're talking about
'Cause-
freedom of speech, and then people are like accusing you of censorship. That's
I do
ridiculous.
kick people when they get on my nerves or get disruptive, though, and I get accused of censorship. But
Jeff don't have any moderators, so
moderation is not censorship.
yeah, that's
Are
a
you-
YouTube thing.
Are you French Cajun, Jeff?
I am. Yeah.
Because I'm half French myself, so
You're half what? Half what?
half French, half Irish.
Oh, yeah. Well, me too. Mostly French and part Yankee, like Scottish, we believe.
Cool.
So Anglo-French.
Well,
Yeah.
since it's quiet, I woke up this morning and I went to go over to my laptop, open it up, and it shines brightly for one moment, and then all four corners of the screen start having these pixelated little dots all over, and then it turns off.
Oh.
That was the first time I've ever seen an LCD screen die.
Is it an old laptop?
No, it's brand new, but thing
Oh my
is
God.
they're making shit with way cheaper components than they used to make it with, and so now,
Inflation.
you buy something, it's just like, bump, gone, dead.
So things not only get more expensive, they get cheaper.
Yeah, they get more expensive and they use cheaper parts. The one thing though that I have going for me is it's within a year of buying it, so it'll be the third time taking it back to Best Buy for warranty repairs.
Can they swap it out?
Yeah.
For something?
Shit, I already tried. Best Buy is like one of the worst companies that
Is
I've
it-
ever like.
Is it really?
Is it an
I used
Apple
to go there.
computer?
That was like the default, but I might find another place now.
Is it Apple by chance, Moose?
Welcome, Lanza, Chris.
From the online website.
I think he's breaking up.
No, I just said, hey.
Hey.
What kind of computer do you have right now, Moose? What kind of computer do you? What kind of computer?
We can't hear you, Moose.
All right, I'll type it in.
I'll be back. I'm gonna refill.
Yeah, what kind of computer do you have right now, Moose? Do you is it?
Send
is it like,
It's in the back chat.
oh, it's the back chat. Okay. And
Never
Ace
heard
is
of it.
214.
Never
Yeah,
heard
I think
of
I
it.
have a similar laptop to that. If you want,
that a-
just you know, that's what I've been working on these stupid computers for. That I'm getting tired of doing right now. But I have these I reflash and convert these Chromebooks into Linux notebooks that have a lot of room. But if you want something just for streaming, if you can pay the shipping, I'd be happy to ship it to you. I don't have any money to ship it right now. I'd be happy to ship you one of these. Like they work really well actually for streaming. They run Discord well. They don't have much in terms of storage space. You can expand it with an SD card, but you know that's not really, it's not that practical. But I mean, or like an external hard drive, I guess. But I mean, they have USB 3. They have Ethernet capability. They have Wi-Fi 6. I have them all running Linux Mint right now, and they're running really well. You know, they're here. I'll show you one.
Well, it shouldn't cost you anything to get it fixed, though. It's
Yeah, it
less
shouldn't.
than a
If it doesn't
year.
cost you anything to get it fixed, it doesn't matter then. Yeah, but it's just it's a Chromebook like this. It's an HP, fairly decent sized screen and everything. You know, it's not a bad little light thing, but just offering because you know you've been very kind to me, so we'd be happy
Where did
to-
you get them? Did you buy them secondhand or something?
No, I have 5 computers left over from when I worked at Amazon. They would always say they were gonna send the computer back whenever they would upgrade or you'd have a problem, but they never would. And so because they didn't really want them, I guess they just left them. But they were hard. They had a hard BIOS installed that wouldn't let you get around their Amazon software stuff. So I had to use my little CH reprogrammer chip and clip it onto the board and reprogram it with a new EEPROM. But you know, but I mean, it's not like it's hard work. It's kind of frustrating. But I got them all working. I got these 2 working anyway really well, and they're decent. Even though I think the webcam quality is maybe even better than the one I'm using here. So the batteries they have to be plugged in though. Because the batteries were shit in the first place. They never ran for longer than an hour, and you can't keep them on for more than 10 minutes without the battery going down. So
Yeah. Talking about plastic and computers, I wish they could make plastic out of hemp plastic. I heard hemp. You can use hemp to make loads of stuff. You can use hemp to make 10,000 different products. I heard Ford, you know, the guy who made the cars, he made a hemp car. Instead of using steel in the outside of the car, he used hemp composite to make the outside of the car. You know, instead of steel.
I think it's one of the companies uses will put in hemp dashboards. I forget who it is though.
I think a French company was doing that. I heard that Tennessee was a big state in America for growing hemp. So the Americans were the big growers of hemp back in the day. Then they stopped it all after the banning of it. But then they started growing it again for World War II, and then they banned it. So they should have never banned hemp, because hemp has no THC or CBD in it. It's got very little. So they banned it, and they banned hemp and weed at the same time. But hemp has so many uses.
The cotton industry had big lobbyists at the time that lobbied for that.
Yeah, it was cotton.
No, I heard it was the paper mills, the forestry, because hemp could make paper with much less.
Oh, I heard that too. The newspaper magnets.
Yeah.
Well, them and the cotton industry both, yeah. But it was lobbyists in Washington got the anti-hemp stuff passed.
So it was capitalist competition in
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that, and they also wanted to be a huge economic player with pharma, so that if they could kind of because they can just put a patent on stuff that's natural and then they own it because the nomenclature in the chemical changes by an atom. So then they go, oh, we own this. Like, that's how, yeah, man, these people don't move nothing if it isn't about money, bro. Nothing.
Mhm.
These people
But-
aren't just going out and seeing movies, bro.
Oh,
Like, they're,
capitalism works. You know, all of that stuff. Big pharma, big ag, big business.
right.
Big
I mean,
science.
they're
We're big.
controlling.
We're big society now. Big globe, big world.
All I know is nobody who is, if someone's a pussy, that would be the only way that they could like make hemp illegal. Like, how much of a pussy do you have to be to make hemp illegal, bro?
Is it illegal now?
Well, Trump made it legal again.
You can buy hemp rope and stuff like that, you know, as long as it doesn't have the THC properties. And of course, then there's all these alternative strains they get from hemp, like the CBD9, the THC 9 and 8 stuff and everything that's still legal in a lot of places, but it isn't the same thing. You know?
Hey guys, what you don't understand is the system is allowed to have like torture places, but you're not allowed to have hemp t-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
And hemp is way easier to grow than cotton. You can get way more yield out of it than cotton. Use less water, less pesticides. It's not as fine a clothes. It's rougher to the touch. It's not as soft, but it grows very fast and very tall.
I had no idea what time it was. I had no idea it was 3:30. Dear God, like I had.
You just woke up? You just waking up?
No, I've been cleaning all morning. I did not realize what time it was.
Are you okay? You seem depressed or worn out.
I don't know. I feel blue today for some reason. I'll be all right.
Okay.
I just you know how it is with those kind of problems.
The roller coaster.
You have up days and down days. It's just kind of been a down day so far.
You need some CBD.
CBD doesn't help me much. You know, the one thing that did used to help my pain anyway was kratom, but it makes me really sick. So
was what?
Really nauseous, so I don't take it anymore.
What was it?
But kratom really helps my pain, my back pain a lot, but it makes me really nauseous. It makes me more nauseous than even if like I drink too much alcohol. I can get shit-faced drunk and not be as sick and not be as nauseous as the kratom makes me. But like just like a teaspoon of kratom like mixed into like I don't know whatever. Like I used to put it in like tea or something like that, and just like to drink it like a shot, just take it like all at once, and it would work way better than any painkiller I've ever used. But it makes me so nauseous, and with a vertigo already added onto that, so it was just too much for me to take. But I still have a bunch of it somewhere. Kratom, like I just mention that because they sell it at the same place they sell the CBD stuff. But CBD, every CBD thing I've tried has done nothing to me. It's been like just taking like a placebo or so, not a placebo that I don't believe in, I guess, or whatever.
Well, you did say you had weird body chemistry. That
I do. Weird body
non-standard ways.
Yeah, me too. My chemistry is screwed up.
You're just chemically divergent.
I can't get high. Like these guys that get high off of opiates and stuff, I don't get high.
Yeah,
I get physically ill.
I don't get ill from them. They do kill my pain, but they don't make me ill. And I don't get a high off them at all. I took hydrocodone for 3 years. I never once even if I took like an extra one or something, I took more than I was supposed to because I was really in pain. I never once felt like any kind of body high or any kind of like euphoria sensation. I never felt anything like that. It would just reduce pain. That's all it ever did for me.
Yeah, that's what I know CBD as. It's just it's more like a like a relaxant or anti-anxiety than anything else. It just
I think it's a gimmick.
For dogs.
I think it's a gimmick.
No, it's a real thing. It's not.
Have you tried vaping, Chris? Maybe
it's like taking melatonin or something like
Dude,
that.
I was into vaping before it was cool, yo. I used to work for a vaping. I literally used to work for a vaping company back before it was common. I used to work at something called a SIG that was like all online. I used to do all the graphic design, and like I
You're
whenever we
getting
just had-
garbly. Your microphone.
Oh, am I? I'm sorry. I'm trying to speak directly into it, but
Watery.
is it still garbly?
Yeah.
No, it sounds good on my end.
Oh, it is. Well, hang on, because you sounded the same way. Maybe it's on my end. Somebody say something.
Testing 1,
Maybe
2.
me. Hello?
No, you all sound good. Sounds normal. Hey, Imp
Alright.
Dave. Imp Dave.
Hi, Dave. Yeah, no, like what did I just say that? Oh, no, but I started vaping.
Yeah,
back
yours
when-
is really choppy right now.
Okay, I'll
Huh.
It
put my
sounds
headphones on.
walkie-talkie.
I hear you just fine, Chris.
And yours sounds that way too, Chuck. But
Same.
Moose and Sean sound normal, so maybe it is.
Well,
me.
there's an echo somewhere I keep hearing.
It's
I
probably
don't
me
know.
because I have a because I don't have
Can
it
the
set up.
audience hear Chris, or is he coming in?
Is it better
choppy?
now? I took my mic off.
Oh no,
My
it's
earphones
whoever's
off.
talking now is choppy too. Maybe it is me. I'm gonna try to leave and come back and see if that resets it. All right.
Anyway, but I used to work for a vape company back before we had all the mods and all like the big like smoke
Yep.
cloud things and everything. Like when they were just like these little like electronic cigarette looking things, you know. And they put these little cartridges on there and stuff like that. And like we got all the stuff in from China and rebranded it. It was
No, I
called
can't hear
Sig.
anything.
I worked for that company for like 3 years. I did all their graphic design. I helped them do shipping and stuff like that. And
You know what? I'll just switch the headset.
I'm switching to headset, so well, hold on a second.
Well, I don't know, man. I think probably vaping would probably be better for your health if you have, like, I don't know. I could be wrong.
It is.
Would it reduce your back pain or something?
It probably is, but it probably is better for it, but I don't know. I got really sick of it for a while. It started making me feel nauseous, so I stopped for a while.
You want to know what else reduces your pain? Just stop being a little bitch.
Whoa.
I'm talking to myself here, actually. I'm over here carrying something. I'm crying like a little bitch.
Did you hear me about that snowstorm, Moose?
Snowstorm? No. No snowstorm.
You guys are supposed to have a big snowstorm at the end of April.
Oh yeah, we had one, and then I was crying like a little hoe.
No, you got another one coming.
Oh no, I don't.
Oh
want
yeah.
that.
I just looked at I looked at the long range weather for the next 2 weeks. You got a snowstorm coming in Maine.
It looks so sunny there.
You're a really bad friend, Chuck. I don't want to hear those things.
I'm sorry. What?
Stop.
I was
telling me
trying to
about
give you
things
a,
I don't want to hear.
I was trying to give you a heads up in case you needed to protect your plant.
No, you're actually a good friend. You're a good friend for telling me that, because I have all kinds of plants I got to protect. So yeah, why am I on the big screen? What's going on? There's nothing
Because
here
I was looking
here
at
to
the
look at.
tour.
Oh, you got a
You know, I
haircut.
love looking at people's walks and stuff.
You got a
Little bit.
haircut.
Chris, I wasn't calling you a little bitch, Chris. I was talking to
Oh
my
Lord,
inner
what did I
self.
miss? My sound went out for a while.
I didn't even hear you say it. Like, I was switching to headphones, so like
Oh,
See,
it's
he wasn't
all's
listening
good.
anyways, Chuck.
problem solved. Nobody thinks you're a little bitch.
I couldn't hear
Show
you
us the
because
countryside.
my headset wasn't connected.
Moose, show us your countryside. Great American outdoors.
So what?
This is
Show
New
us
England.
the.
New England.
Show us,
Oh.
yeah.
Speaking of which, we got a big rainstorm moving in.
Is that a rock? What is that white thing?
No, that's a bag of leaves.
Oh, okay.
Bag of leaves.
I think I'm gonna start trying to stream some old gaming stuff at night. I've got this little like old school like emulator
It's
machine
my
set up.
Hugel culture right here.
Hugel? What's Hugel?
It's got a whole bunch of like logs and like twigs and stuff. It's got big old logs in there and stuff. And then I'm gonna put some dirt over it, And then I'm gonna plant a whole bunch of flowers in there. Already got some flowers coming up.
Oh wow.
I think that's where he puts the bodies.
Well, that's a
All those
permaculture
trees.
technique. Heard about that?
Yeah. Yep. It holds the water in because the wood, it actually will hold a lot of water in it, and it also breaks down over time and will give back to the soil. Got some
I hear
flowers
birds.
over here. Got birds. Oh, nice. Yeah, I got my bird bath today. Just installed the bird bath. Here we go. I got 10 more strawberry plants right here. Couple more right there coming up. Here's
Wow. You definitely keep busy.
the little miniature garden I'm putting up. And then there's the my bird bath.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
It's not gold plated. What's the matter with you?
No, it's bronze. Bronze.
No,
So it's
no
cool.
wonder I didn't know what time it was. My watch actually stopped working.
You use a watch? That's how you tell
Well,
time?
I had been using like the phones, but I kept forgetting to check my phone for the time. So I was like, well, I'll put a watch on. That way, I'll have like a constant reminder of the time. And it completely just realized it stopped running. But now it's running again. So it's a really cool watch that I got as a gift like years ago.
Oh.
You can see it. It's all wood grain. It's got like real wood grain in it. It's pretty cool.
What do you want?
Wait, you were trying to play video game streaming or something, Chris?
Oh
Sorry, I
yeah,
cut you off there.
I was thinking about streaming. Like I found like my old 360 and like my PS3 and stuff. There's a bunch of old games that nobody like that never ported, like 3D Dot Game Heroes and some like the old rhythm games like DJ Hero and Guitar Hero and stuff
You
like
know
that.
what we should do is we should play a D&D session. We're here
We
every single
Lib
day.
had a
We
game
tried that so many
far,
times.
and we were gonna stream it, and we never could get it off the ground. We were gonna meet and make characters, and then a bunch of life stuff happened. We have
We're
been
here
wanting to
every single
stream a
day,
game.
son. Like,
I
come
know.
on.
And the
Like,
Discord, I even made a gaming channel in the Discord.
Yeah.
So I'm down. I'm up for it. Like,
It's partially my fault because like I've gotten so bogged down with stuff and anyway.
There's a fella by the name of
don't
Traveling
worry,
Bull.
Chris. We love you.
a fellow by
He's got a game night that he does. He's got like Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, shit, what's that other Family Feud? He'll bring people up and they'll play it online.
Oh, like on a live stream.
Yeah, he'll do it on a live stream, have it up on the screen and with the contestants on the side of it.
This is
That sounds
no,
cool.
Daniel. That would not induce panic attack. That would make me feel right at home and comforting, and actually reduce my stress because it would remind me of growing up when times were more normal. I know how to
if
work
that
the rotary phone. Believe me, that was one of my main
that
technology.
was the thing. Even if the electric went off, you still had telephone service.
Yep.
And with an analog clock, you can lose electric, you can lose signal, you still got something to tell time.
Yep.
So the old days ain't as bad as what people try to make them out to be. Or old technology, I should say. What do you want?
What?
Yeah, have you heard of that documentary about like solar flares affecting all the electricity stuff?
It
There's a
does.
famous actor who did a documentary about it.
I haven't seen the documentary, but I have heard that about
They've showed where solar flares have interrupted like cell signals and stuff like that.
Let's do some fact checking. Let's see.
The bigger the flare, the bigger the interruption.
Yeah, they some people think that eventually it's going to wipe out all
These are
electricity on Earth
far more
somehow.
common and much less worrisome than some hyped headlines suggest. That's from Scientific American.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
Like I've never my whole life and never been impacted by a solar flare. It's never anything I've even dreamed that I had to worry about.
Yeah, that's because we never got hit by one yet.
Right, but I don't worry about things that never. I work in probability and not possibility, and so that kind of frees up my mental health to just focus on immediate worries and dangers, and I don't have to sit there and torment myself with remote scenarios that probably won't even happen in my lifetime.
Well, no, in this documentary, he says that solar flares could happen anytime. We can predict them, I heard.
Right, so
but
can
you don't-
asteroids, but I don't think it's healthy to go through your day paranoid that an asteroid.
And my hemorrhoids can pop up at any time, and they can go in my bunghole. And then my TP won't work for my bunghole because it hurts.
No, it's interesting though. In this documentary, like it says that, like if it's more common, it probably is more common than a asteroid.
I'm not worried
So
about
they were saying that we have to protect the electronic substations because if they break, it'll take you years to replace.
Are. You think they're not protecting them? They probably already are.
Well, in the documentary, it said that they weren't because they're private companies. They won't spend money on protecting them.
Well, it's just going to hurt them in the end.
Yeah, it hurts them in the end. Like, why would the private companies
I don't know. I'm worried it might be
resources?
propaganda. This documentary.
Yep.
Well, it was a famous American actor from the movie Day After Tomorrow with like the jet stream shutting down or something.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, the other fella, the scientist guy.
But man, let me tell you, he's famous. He's famous. He was a Hollywood actor. Believe him.
Do you know the name of the documentary?
Just look up solar flare documentary.
I did. I'm not coming up with anything.
No.
I mean, it's got to be Jake Gyllenhaal or what's the other guy? Dennis Quaid, because those are the two main actors.
Yeah, that's him. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. Was that the dingbat of the Quaid
I think
brothers?
He's dead now, isn't he?
Dennis Quaid?
Isn't he dead? Yeah, I think he died.
Dennis or Randy?
Dennis. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. No, I'm thinking of Bill Paxton.
No,
he's
not.
Paxton.
He's still around.
I used to get Bill Paxton and Dennis Quaid confused all the time. They look very similar to me.
Which of the two Quaids is it that believes in the moon monkeys?
That's Randy.
That's Randy. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think he believes in them seriously. I'm pretty sure he's just trolling. He's a huge troll. So
well, he's hiding in Canada because he's wanted in the United States.
Oh yeah, what's he wanted for? I wonder.
I'd have to go back and look it up.
Nobody wants him in Canada.
California or somewhere he's wanted.
Just for being crazy, probably. Not
what did he do?
Enough for California. He was probably too not woke. How's that? That's how it happens. I'm just joking, guys.
Wait, so you couldn't find a documentary, Jeff?
Yeah.
With his face in it?
Yeah, it's the one with Dennis Quaid. Grid Down, Power Up, it's called. Is it from 2022?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good. You can watch it later.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to watch it. I'm not worried about solar flares.
How long is it, Jeff?
An hour?
Let's see.
Probably an hour or something.
If Morgan Freeman's not narrating it, then I don't care, Just kidding.
56 minutes.
No, you need James Earl Jones' voice for narration.
Yeah, something like that, to really sell the to really sell it. Yeah, Switch watches. This one doesn't give me that problem, so.
Well, do y'all want to wind it down? It seems to be kind of a low
Yeah.
energy day.
I guess so. I just got here. I had no idea. Like I was downstairs and like suddenly I suddenly I heard my phone beep upstairs or like a ring. It was just a spam call, but I saw the time. I was like, holy crap.
Talking about something to talk. Did you ever get scammed?
I'm about
father
to cook up a salmon bulgur bowl with turmeric and carrots.
What's a boulder
That sounds
bowl?
amazing.
What kind of bowl?
Some kind of like bulgur wheat or some
Oh, bulgur
stuff.
bowl. Okay, yeah. Boulder. That sounds good.
I thought he said bowl.
Yeah, I thought you meant like a poke bowl or something like that. Salmon.
Yeah, talking about scams, like there's loads of scams going on. Like there's loads of ads on YouTube about like how to get rich and stuff.
I don't even look
It's
at
all
it. My eyes
bullshit.
don't even see them. I go right past them. I don't even notice them.
I mean,
Get
there are
rich
some
quick.
legitimate ways. There's some, if you have the desire and the time to set it up, you can actually kind of like scam YouTube in a way by like setting up like these setting up those AI channels that like there's some of those channels that I swear to God, if you look at I don't know if they inflate the numbers with bots or what, but they have like 4 million subscribers and they get like 1 to 2 million viewers per video, and it's mostly like made up nonsense. And like, I mean, if you have the will and the time to set it up, you could definitely make a living off doing it. I couldn't do it. I'd feel too
Yeah, my
guilty.
conscience would eat me alive.
Me too.
It just sounds boring to me. It doesn't interest me enough to figure out how to set
Well,
up.
that too. It definitely sounds boring.
boring.
You can also do like you can also go around SoundCloud and ask like SoundCloud musicians like if you can put their music onto like YouTube as under Creative Commons and so that YouTubers can use their music as like background music and stuff like that, like under the Creative Commons license, and like just the ad revenue that those channels generate, like and and I've checked out the statistics on it. Like it's realistic. Like you can make a good like $3,000 a month off of it. But man, I mean, like it's just like it just seems sleazy somehow. I don't know.
Well, then don't do it. I don't have a problem with it. It's not something I would be interested in setting up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not judging anybody does it.
But if people are exploiting loopholes that already exist in the system, I don't have a problem with that. That's just hacking and exploring the creative possibilities of the platform.
That's all Trump did with his taxes. He just used illegal loopholes.
Yeah. There is an amazing YouTuber. I think it's called the Spiffing Brit. If you ever check him out, and his whole thing is like his whole thing is it's usually with video games, but he does all his videos are about exploits and how you can exploit this or that to do like crazy things in games. But he's done several about YouTube exploits, about how you can use YouTube systems against itself to generate income without actually doing anything besides buying you can for like a fairly cheap price you can put your entire video as an ad. You can put in like an entire like an hour-long video as like an ad on a thing, and so and people will be like, and depending on where you target them at, there's like you can target them at like those like channels that they put on where like people just do like the noise things for sleep, and those channels also generate a lot of money. Where you just put like a 12-hour
white noise. Yep.
Yeah,
yep. Or
those
white
channels
noise
generate a lot of money
channels.
too. And he was talking about like how you could put in you could add a video as an ad into that, and then and you get not just money for the ad views, but you get money for the time that it's spent. So when people are just leaving it on in the background, the ad runs like they're asleep, and the ad runs, and you get like all this money, and it's insane. Like he's really funny too. He's a really funny YouTuber. I definitely would recommend checking him out because and his stuff is like he explains step by step how he does everything. It's not like any subterfuge like sleight of hand type shit. He's like really doing this stuff. And
what's he
a
called
lot of times,
again?
the Spiffing Brit. The Spiffing Brit, and I mean he's actually because of him they've actually patched a lot of the loopholes because his videos get so many views and people start trying to actually do these things, and so YouTube actually goes and patches the exploits out. But it's pretty funny, like the way he finds the the exploits and things. Like, I mean, he's like a kind of a it's very similar to like being a pen tester for like electronics, but like just in like web software and stuff like that. It's kind of funny.
Interesting.
Everybody seems sleepy today too.
Yeah, the energy does seem low today for some reason.
But what are a fun subject you like to talk about? Sports?
That's the one topic I think we've never
Sport.
talked about yet. Is there an edge?
Yeah,
of
I
sport
don't know. I don't
topic,
know the first
cutting
thing
edge
about
sports
anything
topic
sports
other than
related.
trans cutting off the edge sports?
You want to talk about climate change? No.
No,
Nope.
there's not really anything to talk about. I don't think it's going to be an issue for my lifetime. I don't have to worry about it,
The
and I'm not
weather.
having grandkids, so y'all have fun with it.
Yeah,
Wait, where are you based?
It's my kids that gotta worry about it, really.
Oh wait,
Chris,
do you
you
have
sound
kids,
really
Chris?
depressed today. Like I've never heard you this down. He's like
Yeah,
emo.
He's just low energy.
It's not. No, I mean,
It
I
sounds
am.
like low mood, not just energy, but mood.
I am a little depressed today. I'm just overwhelmed with. It's just the same thing. It's the same thing. It's nothing new. I'm just
But
overwhelmed
what are
with
you doing
everything.
to get the support for? Are you still like floundering on your own, trying to
I
fix
mean,
it all?
I've reached out to many different places for support. I've I still have the GoFundMe up. I'm trying to like raise money to try to get our fridge back and stuff like that. I can't bring Juniper back here until I have at least a way to keep food cold for it's just like I feel like I feel like every day I'm like working my ass off around this place, and like and at the end of the day,
You are,
whenever
because you have taken on more responsibility than you have the capacity to fulfill. That's
well,
the
there's no one
equation
else
that
to
you're
take
at,
it
and
on.
it's going to keep being
Do you
unbalanced until you bring
do you
something
get
in.
government help? To get government money?
I do. We're even waiting on. I get food stamps, and we get but of course I can't like keep any food cold right now. But then we get food stamps, and we get I'm waiting on disability right now, and disability is one of these things that like literally they just like it's just like whenever it happens, like
Yeah,
even like
I
Slow
I
don't
don't
think
even
boat
that
to
should
know.
be your plan A. I think that
slow
should be
boat to
backup plan.
China.
Yeah, it's slow boat to China for real.
Is
Yeah.
the disability keeping you from exploring other solutions, like because you're waiting? That's in the future, because I don't.
Well, in terms of like it keeps me from moving. I can't move until it's done.
But you may not get it. Like, are you working on other plans in case it doesn't come through?
I mean, yeah, if it doesn't come through, I mean, like, well, my lawyer checked the last two reports from those last two medical reports, and they both were in my favor, and the judge was already like siding towards me. So my lawyer has
Yeah,
no
but
doubt that
I think you
the
still need a
final
plan in case you don't get it.
the
Like, you're trying
final
to rationalize and
decision.
convince yourself that that's going to be the outcome, so you don't have to act in other ways, but it may not be. And the smart thing to do is plan for a no matter what.
Yeah, because the
yeah,
final decision comes from a board in Washington D.C.
I know. Which makes no sense.
Regardless of what.
Why have a judge? Why have a judge even like hear your case if it's just going to go to someone else above the judge? Does that make any sense
Yeah,
at all?
no.
Yeah.
It's like that's like if the Supreme Court made a decision and then there was just some random committee of people that you've never heard of and you'll never know their names of that can override or
You're really
decide things.
oversimplifying and I think mischaracterizing how the
I
system
am?
actually works.
Okay.
It's
How am I oversimplifying?
complicated. It's complicated.
Well, any case, I mean that's actually that's how my lawyer explained it to me, so that's what I was going off of. But it's fine. I mean, I'm not.
I don't think you're going to get disability. I think anybody that watches the stream is going to say this dude can work. Look at all the shit he does on the stream. Look at all the stuff you do now as one person just trying to take care of your household. You're at your storage shed every day. You're out in public doing things. Like no one's going to look at that and say this is a person that can't work. I think Lindsay has a much better chance of getting it.
Maybe so. Well, in any case, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know that's a possibility. I'm just I I'm running low on energy and motivation, I guess.
Well,
I
the worst
noticed
thing to
lately
do.
it seems to fluctuate because sometimes you show up and you're real animated and recharged, and then sometimes this. So I know there's things that you do that get you out of this even now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, there's some. I mean, but sometimes just some days are just
Chris,
better than others.
just go in the bathroom, stroke one off real fast and come back. Put a smile on real fast.
Yeah, you can't waller in a pity party. I've been there. It don't
I'm
work.
not. I'm sorry if that gets the way it's coming off, guys. I'm really sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
being
no.
vulnerable.
I wasn't
Nope.
implying. I wasn't
That's not the
It
implying
is
that.
coming off that way to me.
way it's coming off, son.
I didn't mean for it to come off that way.
It's like you're not using the agency you have to try to like generate some solutions that you have more control of. It's like you've just resigned yourself to the mercy, like the mercy of the system or whatever they determine, and you're like it just there's something very passive about your problem
Well,
solving.
I mean, I've gone out. Every day. I've been trying to work on trying to put together some things I can sell. I mean, I'm
Right,
trying
that's
to.
short term, but for long term,
I
you
don't
need a
know
long
how.
term plan. You have a family to support. You have yourself to support. There's the stream we're trying to
I
do.
guess I
So
don't know how to do that then right now. I'm
Is
trying.
it mental problems or physical problems that are, or is it both?
Well, I mean, for one thing, that's one thing that's coming. I had a really bad vertigo day. I've been feeling like I've been spinning all day. I've had to lay down several times. I also fell twice downstairs earlier, so I'm kind of sore. And I'm just
let's end the stream today and let you take care of yourself and reset and
yeah,
all
it's
of that.
fine. You don't even have to end the stream. I can jump off. I'm bringing everybody down. So let me just jump off.
No, you're not bringing the energy down. Not to me.
This
You're
is like
not.
free therapy here. I'm learning stuff too.
It's not therapy. It's not doing anything. It's not going anywhere. So it's not.
Oh, well.
I mean, yeah, if that's how everyone feels. I understand. I'm not.
Do you take any
No,
what do you have? Do you take any medications for your problems or something?
I do. Yeah. I haven't found an antidepressant that's really worked for me for like years and years now. But I mean, I have other things that I take that at least reduce the pain and soreness, stuff like that. So I mean, there's some. They're not very effective, but what's it?
but I can
Methocarbamol.
relate, Chris. If I do too much in one day physically, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden my legs will quit, and I'll end up face down on the floor in the yard,
Yeah,
in the driveway, because I've overdone it, overtaxed my body.
yeah.
And I used to beat myself up for it, but I learned to control my physical activity so that I don't do that, even though
Yeah,
I'm in pain all the time.
I know exactly what you're saying there, and like and that is a lot of problem. Like, and I know it's like not my fault, and like I'm really fully conscious of it, and I tell myself that, but there's still part of myself that still beats myself up for like feeling weak. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. I'll agree with that. But I don't.
it's really hard not to like beat yourself up for being weak or feeling weak or whatever that is. Like.
But that's not going to accomplish anything or get
It
you
doesn't accomplish
where you're
anything,
trying to
and
go.
I'm fully aware of that, and I tell myself that constantly, but it doesn't necessarily change the way your brain is still like there's like still parts of your brain that are like
If you have a goal, it's impossible to be depressed, anxious, and creative at the same time. If you have a goal to focus on, like when you were making the computers, fixing the computers,
Yeah,
if you have
one
some
simple
kind of
thing.
goal to direct your brain to, you're not going to have time to beat yourself up and focus on something constructive at the same time.
well I mean that's what I was doing. I was cleaning and stuff, like I was trying to clean up some stuff. I was trying to pick up some stuff that was in the way. I'm trying to clean out this area of the living room downstairs, and I was focused on that, and I was mostly sitting
But you
down
also
while doing
fell
it,
twice, so
and then I fell twice, and
again taking on your it's like resource management or time and resource management is I don't think it is most effective.
No, it's not.
And that's the kind of stuff like I think a lot of us could maybe help with. It just talking
Well,
you through things, maybe helping you like create a plan or a set of plans that you could adapt or be flexible with. Maybe some specific goals that you could focus on and work towards, and kind of organize the chaos for you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
well, I have mental
Emperor,
health problems too. I have so much social anxiety that I can't look for work. I don't want to work, but I'm going to try and get more help on that therapy and stuff. I've
What
gotten therapy as well for that.
I want to go back to work. I would love to go back
what's
to work.
helped so
but
far? Have you had that like most of your life?
Myself or Chris?
Yeah, you, Chris. I think there's work you could do, but there's the vertigo thing. I mean, you.
That's what I'm saying. Like the vertigo thing keeps me from able to do most of it, and I still apply for work at home things all the time, but only ones I ever get responses back from are absolutely scams. Like they're
oh
like
yeah,
they respond to you. They seem like really legitimate until suddenly they're like, "We're gonna send you a check to order your equipment," and I'm like, "Nope."
or
Show
Sean,
that scam.
you gotta buy this certain setup in order to. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, Chris.
Yeah, they tell you that they're going to reimburse you or this or
well, there's
that.
got to
you
be
know, or-
some legitimate work for home. Every single person working for home is not a scam. So there's got to be some
No, yeah,
legitimate people doing
they're just
legitimate things for home that if you do a little bit of research, you could probably locate and track down.
I've done a lot of research. It's very hard.
It's
I
all
mean,
scams.
no, it's not all scams. The ones that respond are scams.
Okay. Well,
It's
The
not.
ones
It's
that
not
want to
if
take
you
your
want one
money.
day, I could like sit with you and see what you've come up with so far. Like help you. Maybe there's things I'll notice or help you look at it a certain way that might generate
I
some
still never
options.
heard back from the peer counseling thing. I need to. I guess I'll follow up on that again. I just did that too. I just sent
That's
an
going to
email
be
to it.
slow because it's going through DVR. It's going to take years.
Oh well, then that
If
takes years then.
if DVR is the one subsidizing it, unless you can find a way to get it paid for outside of them.
Yeah.
Is there a big demand now for therapy and stuff like that? Counseling? Waiting list?
It certain kinds of therapy, yeah, like kind of the kind that you can process a lot of people at a very low level. Those kind, the more difficult kind, I don't think there's still a lot of well, there's definitely demand. I don't think there's a lot of supply for it. What you were telling us about your like what helped you with
Are you
your
talking about me?
so yeah.
Well, I'm struggling myself. Like I have mental health problems, but I'm gonna try and solve them. Like we gotta go to the doctor first and tell him that scares me as well. But yeah, I don't want to share too much because
Okay.
this is kind of like a therapy place, isn't it? Free therapy here. there's doctors now on
This
YouTube
is not
that do that as
I'm
well.
not a therapist. This is not therapist. So this is actually an entertainment channel. But I
But have you heard of that doctor on YouTube that does like live therapy sessions on YouTube?
Oh boy.
Oh
He's
yeah,
doctor.
Oh yeah, I knew there'd
Yeah.
be a genre for that.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
Well, I'll
And
tell you what
couples
I'm seeing here lately is a big trend is these so-called mental health facilities. They got psychiatrists and psychologists on staff, but they're getting rid of all their therapists.
And most of them are just drug treatment facilities anyway. It's what I found out the hard way with Lindsay's disability. Whenever they sent her to
Well, that's
mental,
because mental health, like
Yeah, it's a
mental health
basket
and drug
field.
use, like there's this attempt to see them as one problem, and the rates of people that are showing up for substance use services are like
way higher.
80% to 20% mental health. So all of the resources are focused on substance use now because that's where the demand is, and mental health itself is getting kind of lost in all of that.
Yeah.
And the substance use providers are the ones driving the conversation now and setting the policy, not the mental health providers.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
How true.
And it really that was the most frustrating thing about like trying to get Lindsay help is because every time like she got sent to a facility, they just treated her. They kept constantly drug testing her, and even though she tested negative over and over again, they kept as though somehow those places are like prisons too. I don't even know how you would.
Yeah, I told you before I would have filed a grievance.
I mean, I didn't. I mean, without a lawyer, I don't know how to do that. So
grievance doesn't take a lawyer. They have their own in-house grievance process, so there's external ways you
If it was a facility, they might have even had an advocate on hand.
I tried to get a hold of advocates and stuff like that, but they had all these COVID rules in place where you couldn't speak to anyone.
Oh, yeah.
The only person you could speak to was the front desk, and occasionally they would at one time.
But you had phone and Zoom. I don't accept that COVID was a reason that people suddenly didn't have access to advocates because they had access to everything else remotely.
I couldn't get a hold of one, but I mean, I was trying like that. That was like my only because I was trying to talk to her. I couldn't even get her on the phone.
Well,
but anyway, that's all in the past.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap up. And
Survivor was good last night, though. That was good.
Yeah, it's getting really good. I'm a great season, and I'm gonna in a few more hours I'll be on Sanity Machines channel, and then maybe I'll do a stream after that. We'll play it by ear.
All right, bud. Thanks.
Okay.
Tell me when you go on Sandy Machine's channel. Maybe I'll pop in.
I don't know if he's gonna do an open panel. He's gonna do it. You can hang out in the comments. I think he's gonna do a conversation and then maybe open it up to callers after. But he said he only wants like 2 or 3 people. He doesn't want full panels.
Well, I mean, he might let me on. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably will. But anyway, just show up at the show, and then at some point, I think he's gonna open it. And I'll throw that link again, just in case for those that want it.
Is it in the back chat?
Yeah. I can put it there too. This is just his channel, but the link should be on there. It's gonna be at 8 p.m. Chuck Central. So I guess 9 p.m. your time. And I'll put it in the Discord too, when it starts.
Okay.
Right. Moose, as always, thank you again. I loved seeing your.
Okay, so you're going to be on at 8. What time? Pacific?
Central. So like 9 o'clock your
Central.
time.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right, cool. I'm going to go in there with the open mind. I'm going to view it with the open mind and stuff. Because after the last week or whatever, I've kind of got my eyes open on people. I'm a very community-oriented person, so.
I'm interested in your thoughts, and if you want to talk one day, we should, because your opinion tends to carry a lot of weight with me. So I take your observations about this seriously.
Oh yeah, and
we'll just turn off the stream, and then we'll keep talking.
Thanks for that code.
Oh, okay, I could do that. Yeah, and I'll let you know right now, Steven runs a very tight chat room, so he's known for blocking people and comments he doesn't like, et cetera, et cetera. So be prepared for that. That's his channel and his way of running things. Other than that, if I don't see you tonight, I will see you tomorrow right back here at the same time.
No, yeah, hopefully I'll actually show up on time this time. All right, bye.
All right, take care. All righty, that will do it for us.